Are you still worrying about spending all your savings on catering and always finding yourself broke at the end of the month? Well, allow me to introduce Cheapest, your first near-expiration store on campus. This presentation will be divided into 6 parts. First, we'll talk about our motivation regarding the creation of the store. Then, we'll introduce our shop and the main goals we want to achieve through the shop.
Today, we will walk you through the detail of our revenue model and our marketing strategy, and let everyone here understand how we will be making profit. Lastly, we will briefly talk about the future outlook of our shop and the funding that we will be named.
Looking from a student's perspective, there are 3 main problems in the UK that we've discovered. This includes the rise of commodity prices, global warming caused by carbon dioxide, and the transportation inconvenience for college students in purchasing daily goods.
Did you know how expensive it is to buy a daily good in the UK? There are a lot of things that cost a lot more money than ever.
Here is a statistic showing that the inflation rate in the UK recently hit 11%, setting a 41-year high. And the graph also shows the Consumer Price Index, also known as CPI. Change in the UK over the years. The CPI of the country often indicates the inflation rate. And as you can see here, UK's CPI almost tripled from 2020 to 2023.
A friend of mine who's currently studying in the UK once complained to me about how having a simple haircut went from £17 to £20 in the span of 3 months. That's just insane. This story made us truly realize how living expenses in the UK are getting more and more costly, and people are desperate for relief from this financial burden. Next, let's talk about carbon emissions and global warming. It's one of the most discussed topics since the start of the 21st century, and the cause of global warming that everyone must heard of is the carbon dioxide that we humans release into the atmosphere through things like cars and industrial waste gas. But did you know that global food waste generates carbon dioxide just as much as car emissions? According to a report made by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, global food loss and waste generates about 8% of total anthropogenic GHG emissions annually, and this is the most equivalent to global road transport emissions.
What's more, according to research made by WRAP-org, the reason why food was waste is that these ingredients were not used in time. Therefore, it's crucial for us to reduce carbon emissions caused by both transportation and food waste.
Next, we discovered that on the vast Lancaster University campus, there are just not enough supermarkets. In fact, only 2 supermarkets, Spar and Central, are located on campus. This makes students need to take transportation such as a bus or car to purchase the food they need for daily life.
Not only did this cause inconvenience, but it also cause more food waste, since they would tend to buy more food, which is likely to generate more food waste than as mentioned. Household food waste often results from ingredients not being used in time, so this project would be a perfect fit for a university like Lancaster.
In this part, we will talk about what exactly are we planning to do with this project. We will be splitting it into 4 parts. That is our objective, store location, what do we provide, and how do we provide the products. Last but not least, we will introduce our business model and its detail of it.
Our solution to this problem is the cheapest near-expiration grocery store. Our logo for the shop is shown on the right. The word cheapest is a combination of cheap and compass, indicating the shop's location and the price range of its merchandise. The U on the logo stands for the word university and us at the same time, and carries the meaning of our ultimate goal, which is to become a part of a college community. In order to reduce carbon emission and waste, and continue the line of ingredients, we do our best of our corporate responsibility, provide a transparent carbon footprint for enterprise partners to achieve ESG goal. And then we provide carbon footprint certification, analysis certification, and alliance with different industries to acquire viable ingredients to reduce waste and carbon emission. Lastly, we create a preferential price, provide edible ingredients to students and university community residents, create sustainable environmental protection and profit.
As we mentioned before, there are only 2 supermarkets located on campus. Therefore, we think it's a great plan to have some new blood in the market for supermarkets on the Lancaster campus. Our store will be located on campus, allowing students to enjoy cheap merchandise and convenient services at the same time without leaving the campus.
As inflation occurs, most people in the UK have more or less faced some sort of financial difficulties. Let alone college students, most of them rely on fixed paycheck and saving for living, and it puts them in a bad position since their money is losing worth quicker than before.
In our store, we'll be providing near-expiration merchandises recycled from nearby supermarkets, and these merchandises will be sold at 30% off compared to the market price, that college students can cut down their living expenses on catering.
And the source of this cheap merchandise is the supermarket near campus. And to meet our goal of reducing carbon emission, we will make sure that the minimum carbon footprint is produced during logistics. We will be purchasing merchandise from these 5 supermarkets, controlling the range of our purchasing range within a radius of 6 kilometers. Next, let's introduce our business model and how it will work. First of all, we will collaborate with supermarkets within 6 kilometers in radius, discuss the purchase price they will be offering, and plan our logistic route for the carbon footprint being produced during the process can reach the minimum. Ideally, we will be able to purchase their near-expiration merchandise at 50% off compared to a market price. But here's the question. What should they agree? Well, besides the ESG certification that we have mentioned, we will also have a huge amount of college students and commodities selling at a low price are no doubt a huge attraction for the majority of them. Together through this collaboration, not only can they meet their ESG certification goals, they will also create extra revenue for the items that they would be waste. What's more, their cost for disposing of food waste also will decrease since we purchase some of it. Our next step will be promoting, since word spread fast among students. Not to mention this tempting information about discount merchandise being sold on campus. We will update our social media daily, allowing students to know more about our store and what could be found and purchased during the day. Now, let's further explore our brand positioning. We divided supermarkets in the UK into 3 levels. First is Martha and Booth. These 2 brands belong to a luxury category. They offer fresh and high-quality items. However, the price is high too. Third, making a huge difference with our brand. Then it's Sainsbury, which is put into the mid-level category. They offer a variety of products and a slightly cheaper price compared to the luxury brands. And the product diversity of this brand is similar to our brand.
Lastly, we have Tesco and Aldi, which belongs to the affordable category. The scale of both shops in Lancaster is not huge, so the amount of different products are limited. However, their prices make them very competitive.
As for our brand, Cheapest will be a combination of Sainsbury's diversity and Tesco's cheap price. Offering different products while maintaining a reasonable price will be our main focus.
Therefore, our target customer is all college students, considering that college tuition is extremely high, especially for students who went abroad to study in the UK and those who came from economically disadvantaged families. Take Lancaster University for example. There are about 30% of international students are currently studying for a degree in Lancaster.
For them, tuition fees vary from £11,400 to £38,000, and that's the tuition fees alone. So imagine what the cost would look like if living expenses are added to their number. Fourth, we see this opportunity to provide cheaper ingredients for them and create the living environment in which they can focus on other aspects of their life in Britain, instead of worrying about their financial situation. So why did they choose us? There are 2 points. First, there are only 2 supermarkets in Lancaster and their goods will be more expensive than ours. Take yogurt as example. The price of a Spar is even 0.6 pounds than downtown supermarket. Second, we are a store with the goal of reducing carbon emission. Choosing us is helping Earth. How can you not choose us? Having established our target customer and our profit mode, there is still one question that hasn't been answered, and that is, how to let people know our shop is in the early stage of our operation. Since now is a social media era, we will promote our shop through social media apps such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Besides this, we will also put in our poster on the plaza near campus.
Next, let's get into our planned daily schedule for our shop. Our opening hours will start from 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., considering that most students will need to attend classes in the morning. At around 6 to 7 o'clock, an employee will be driving in the city and collecting near-expiration goods from different supermarkets. After closing, we'll tidy up the shop and store all the goods we carry back until 10 p.m. And the next day, we'll be shelving our goods on the stack and prepare for opening 1 hour in advance.
In order to kickstart our business, we will need a £50,000 fund. The distribution of this funding is shown in the pie chart below.
Our ideal net income will be £2,250 per month, and we expect it to start profiting in the 7th month after opening.
For our future outlook, we will be expanding Cheapest to other university campuses, becoming the first choice in buying groceries for college students in UK, and keep providing affordable products and heartwarming service for students through expansion.
Also, we'll be able to spread the 3 core concepts of our store across the UK and make the environment better than we found it.
We plan to open 100 stores in the span of 3 years, and further expand to 300 stores 2 years after that.
Eventually, after 8 years of our first shop's opening, we plan to reach the goal of having a cheapest store on all university campuses in the UK, becoming a crucial role in reducing carbon emissions in the UK.